On a day the Cabinet approved the Food Security Ordinance, we ask, was the government left with no option but to take the ordinance route to ensure food security? Also stand by for an exclusive live conversation with Food Minister K.V. Thomas on the ordinance. I'm Manun Bhattacharya. First up, the headlines. To Newsnight. Before we come to the specifics of the Food Security Ordinance, let me talk a little about the politics over it. The government had, Professor Thomas, earlier decided to defer the Food Security Ordinance and had then said that it will try to seek political consensus with the opposition over a special session of Parliament to pass such a law. What has changed since then?
See, on last 13th of June, the ordinance was in the cabinet agenda. But it was decided that we should consult again with the political parties, including the opposition political parties, and Honorable Home Minister and Finance Minister and the Parliamentary Affairs Minister.
No longer a precondition for implementation of this legislation.
See, this proposal,
they're insisting that this is not a poll gimmick but is being done in the larger interest of the country. So the big question we are asking tonight is, was the government left with no option but to take the ordinance route to ensure food security? The School of Social Sciences with JNU and Rajesh Krishnan is a senior campaigner, Sustainable Agriculture, Greenpeace. I welcome you all to Newsnight. Let me begin with you, Mr. Naik. The Supreme Court had said, Mr. Naik, that the ordinance is an emergency power that can be used only to meet an emergent situation. Does the present situation warrant a crisis response like this?
Obviously, you see, we are committed to Article 47 of the Constitution, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, International Convention on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. Sir. Under this, we have been doing our duty for all these years to provide food security for the people in different manner, under public distribution system, etc. But now we have to take the matter in the cabinet again. There also, there was resistance on some other issues, and now ultimately there was no option then to issue an ordinance. Let us see what happens. It's ultimately people's demand. People require. You see, question is that every pregnant and lactating woman requires nutrition. Children require nutrition. We have to provide.
What Mr. Naik was saying, this was having two dimensions. One, the moral, and the other was the political. I would like to comment that on the moral ground, if you look out of the 66 years of post-independence India, it was your interest. As far as this is concerned, you are coming in the last leg of your government. And I am really surprised. You waited for 66 years but not ready to wait for 12 or 13 days
Dr.
when the Parliament is coming.
Had the BJP allowed a discussion on the bill in the last session of Parliament, and had it allowed the passage of that bill, such a situation would not have arisen?
If you look, why the last session, and we were ready for discussion, and now again they are trying to avoid discussion. That's why they are following this ordinance route.
Right, let me bring in Himanshu on this. Himanshu,
the
provisions of the bill. Mr. Naik, I'll come to you.
तीन सेशन से सिलसिला चल रहा है of stalling Parliament.
Right, that is of course the point of view of the Congress, that the opposition has been stalling Parliament all this while, which is why the government was not able to pass the food security legislation. But let me bring you in, Himanshu. What do you make of the provisions in the ordinance? Do you think they provide for food security?
I don't think there is, first of all, the route of ordinance is something which is not going to work in terms of food security.
To identify beneficiaries.
It is, the state government should be able to do it. It is practically impossible in the next 180 days, that is 6 months. 180 days is 6 months. By that time the ordinance will be infructuous. So by the time the state governments identify the beneficiaries, the ordinance would have become infructuous. So there is no point that the whole ordinance would not have worked by then. And if you want it to be a sustainable, and that is what the demand was not for an ordinance, the demand was for a bill, which is something which will continue, which will have a constitutional validity. Either the government is serious and goes to the Parliament again and basically makes it a law, then there is some kind of a seriousness by which the state goes out. And this was made clear by Professor Thomas, that there is hardly any unanimity as far as the political parties are concerned on the basic nitty-gritties of it. All the political parties are agreeing that there is a necessity for the food security bill, but there is some kind of a disagreement on the basic modalities of it. And that is why the government has opted for the ordinance route rather than going to the parliamentary process of. Stocks are not a problem. Problem I do see is the problem of political willingness, and that I somehow feel that if you've taken 4 years just to pass an ordinance, then there is definitely some kind of a lack of willingness to pass.
Fine. Let me bring in Mr. Krishnan now. Do you welcome the ordinance?
Actually, I would say that it would have been much better. It's actually a mockery of food security that what we are seeing here. At best, it can be called as grams of grains per person per day. It's actually absolute mockery of food security, and it is not talking about other essential things like pulses, edible oil, etc., etc.
But what are your specific objections to the ordinance? What are your specific objections? Why have your expectations been belied by this ordinance?
As I said before, the first thing is definitely about done. Given the kind of food availability in this country at this point and the kind of finances that the government has and should put in.
But the government says that 23% of the population can easily afford, or say 33% of the population in this case can easily afford buying food grains from the open market. Why should everyone be subsidized?
See, the way the government has been modifying and remodifying the poverty lines, one really doubts whether these percentages that the government gives is something that one can go by. The second thing is also about, in a targeted PDS, you clearly have errors of exclusion, which we have seen with the earlier version of PDS also. So there is a clear chance of quality and food use, and the government clearly has sidestepped all of this, and this is more of a gimmick, and given the timing of it, one really suspects the intention of the government on this.
But Mr. Krishnan, the food security ordinance has certain PDS reforms mentioned in it. For example, there is a state level grievance redressal mechanism as well as district level grievance redressal mechanism. Then there are vigilance committees for its effective monitoring. There is the provision of social audit as well. Don't you think that that will help in the effective implementation of the legislation?
Well, see, first of all, as I said, this legislation itself is incomplete, an incomplete step towards food security. Well, there are certain redressal and grievance mechanisms which are better than the existing ones, which is accepted. But I am saying that this cannot be considered as a food security legislation. This could have been a much serious step that government should have taken or could have taken to ensure food security for this country.
Right.
And I would also like to bring back the earlier political part of it, which is when a country is going forward or a government is going forward with such an important legislation which is about giving food security to a nation, it definitely should have taken it to the parliament. It definitely should have ensured that there is a parliamentary debate on this matter, and sidestepping that is a serious issue. Right.
Mr. Trivedi, you want to make a point?
You have talked about what was the flaw in this ordinance. In my opinion, the biggest...
Understand this very simple logic. I don't understand.
How do you think this will impact the farmer, Himanshu?
See, I think it's, the whole scheme, his opinion that it is not going to help the farmer. What you said was that the MSP is the other side of the coin. I mean, the government procures, and the procurement is in fact, and that's the question that you raised, that aren't MSP is increasing. But the fact is that more than MSP is the costs which are also increasing. Today, the Indian farmer is the least subsidized. In terms of the diesel prices, the subsidy is gone. Fertilizer subsidy
says that it would have been better had there been due debate over this issue because it has certain objections. Maybe that discussion will take place in the next session of Parliament because this has to be finally approved by Parliament. Well, we are heading into a short break now, but we'll be back with much more. Please don't go anywhere. Of Ahmedabad. The charge sheet says it was a fake encounter. It also slaps charges of conspiracy, abduction, illegal confinement and murder against 7 senior Gujarat policemen. It names IB officer Rajendra Kumar. Welcome back. Let's now take a look at what else is making news across the country.
The national
Continuing its downward slide for the third consecutive day, rupee today plunged by 55 paise. On to international news. Egypt is in a state of flux after the army's deadline for rival political groups to meet the people's demands expired